Hello again, welcome back. As usual, this is Becca going by Nightcat or Nightcat's Meow when online, and this is another week discussing Linden scripting language. I'm actually going to start off with an apology. The past two videos were definitely below my usual quality target. We had the audio issues, and then there was the fact that I ran into a couple of minor flaws and didn't get them resolved. There's not really an excuse for this. I dropped the ball for all of y'all. I'd had quite a bit going on my own. In the past, I wound up skipping a week usually when that happened, but I tried not to do that this time, and it really impacted the quality. So I'll consider that a lesson learned and find better ways to deal with that so it doesn't wind up affecting the videos I do for you all. But in the meantime, I did figure out how to solve the couple of small flaws in the script I was teaching you for running this texture control menu. And we're going to go ahead and resolve those, and then should be able to move on to a few other things next week. The problem with the way this is right now is there's really two of them. The first, when you call up the menu, it's actually skipping something. There's actually one texture that's going to get left out, and we'll deal with why that happens in just a minute. But there's also, no matter how many of them you have in there, you're not going to get another next button. So we're going to go through and we're going to resolve both of those issues this time. It was an oversight on my part. It comes from the fact that I tried to go through and make these very off the cuff and very conversational, almost like I was going for the feel of it being like sitting down in a room with you, or at least as close as a medium like this can actually create. But that wound up leading to that little problem before because I didn't prep enough, and we're getting out of the stuff that's so simple I can just wing it perfectly every single time. So again, lesson learned. The first flaw that we're going to address, getting into the actual code, the thing you're actually here for, is when you have this trigger where it has if I is equal to 2, if you're on the second thing, that's where you'll get that button there. In fact, we could make that 1 and center it, but it works well enough. And the count is too high, that you'll get your next button, then an else statement for picking out the next item. The first flaw is I never accounted for what do we do when we get the number 2 texture in the list. So that one's solved pretty easily. We put that right there. Now, the thing to that is, since you're going to be adding an extra button there, you also need to increment I up by 1. So, because you basically added two things. You've added a button for next, and you've added a button for the specific texture that shows up there. So, I equals I plus 1. Now we'll automatically deal with both of those considerations. And the rest of that works just the same way it did. I'd actually have to go in and look at the entire list of textures to prove to you that that worked, but if you followed this far in the videos, you'll probably understand exactly why that worked. So, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it actually accounts for the next button. The way we're going to do that is we have to make this actually account for the change in place. And we're actually going to put in, come to think of it, going to put in a little extra something just to account for all this so y'all can see it in action. It's here, says it's counting up to a certain amount. Out of count, because it's the total number of textures in the object. And then here, starting at and that's going to be accounted for with place. This will kind of help illustrate what's going on under the hood. As I've said, that's what these debug feedbacks are really, really good for. And actually, a slightly better way than just making a series of ifs is to just make an entire operation out of the single if statement. So now instead of having to check is debug on for each of the three of them, it checks it once and then just automatically runs all three. So we say, pull that up here, counting to 12, out of 28, starting at 0. Counting to 23, out of 28, starting at 11. It's starting at 11 instead of 12 because of, as you know, the computer starts counting at 0. So down here, we want to check this based on place. We want to, right now, it can't come up with this at all on your second run through. On the second run through, it can't reach 2 because we're starting pull that back up here, because we're starting at 11, so it will never reach 2 because it's already past it. So we're going to make that 2 plus place. And count is greater than 12. We need to drop that to 11 because we lose one of those options because of the next button going in. So this one is also going to be plus place. Putting it inside these brackets, if you remember from math class, it means you treat everything in there as one operation and then plug it back into whatever the formula you're working with is. It works the same way here. It treats that calculation, the 2 plus place, as one result when it's comparing that there. So we get next, and we get next again. So this time, counting to 28, out of 28, starting at 22. There you go. That solves the problem with making sure that it goes through, checks everything in the inventory, doesn't wind up skipping anything this time. So that is the correction for the video I'd given you the past couple of weeks. Again, my apologies for kind of dropping the ball on that. As I said, I just had a lot of stuff going on. It's not a true excuse. I set myself up with a commitment to you all, and I fell through on that commitment. So again, you have my apologies. I'm going to take it as a learning experience and do better for y'all moving forward. So, as usual, we're going to have these videos dropping every Tuesday, usually by noon Eastern Standard Time. And anytime, if you have any additional questions, just want to tell me something you think that I need to do better on these, feel free to leave a comment. You have a question or something you specifically want me to cover for how to create. This entire little series on HUDs and textures in HUDs has specifically been because you all have asked for it. So I do watch those comments. I do appreciate it when people tell me what I'm doing well. I value it when people tell me what I need to do better. After all, this is done for you guys. So go ahead, like, subscribe, give me that feedback, give me those comments. If you need to reach me in world, feel free to. I'm on semi-regularly right now. If you want me to look over code you're working on, remember you need to send me the script with full permissions. Because if any of those permissions is lacking, then I'm not able to open it to look at it. If you all need something, somebody did once send me one. It was a screen cap of their SL code. Unfortunately, I wound up with a brief internet outage and lost track of who they are. But it's just an example of the best way to send it is directly in Second Life, because at that point I have a tag attached to it. I can look at the creator of that script, and I know who to contact. I don't ever want to be in a situation again where I'm going to help somebody and something gets in the way, and then I have no idea who they were in the future. So, and again, these will be up regular Tuesdays, so that's it for this week. I know it's a short one, but good day, good luck, happy coding, and we'll get on to other funny things you can do with HUDS controls and resing stuff come next week, unless somebody has a specific request, in which case I'll prioritize that over things with resing. And that's it.